Okay, well, here is my 4.3 liter Mercruiser. I have a 1999 19-foot Rinker boat, and this engine has been just giving me a few issues. It's all typical carburetor issues. It's lagging start, hard to start, that kind of thing. And I decided that I'm going to upgrade the carburetor with a fuel injection kit. So yeah, let's get going. So what we have to do with this is first we need to get that old carburetor off. So I'm going to try one of these tricks here, if I can get it just right. Okay, just like that. And the carburetor's off, and so I got that put away. I'm going to clean up the head of the engine right there, or the fuel intake right there. And then what comes with the kit is all the gaskets you need, and the throttle body injection unit. So it's a dual jet. And it also comes with its adapter plate on the bottom, so it'll bolt right on. So now, on the back side of this is the fuel inlet and outlet, and another vacuum port there. In the front is 3 vacuum ports that I'll be blocking off, 4 vacuum ports I'll be blocking off. And then plug it in and see if it works. I have the throttle body injector installed, and I was just going to zoom in a little bit to show what I've done here. I have my fuel line down to my fuel pump. That fuel pump is existing. I cut it off and installed my flexible fuel tube here, wrapped it around the back side of here, and then up into the throttle body unit. And here's my return line coming back out, and I have a T cut in right there into my return line to my tank. It goes all the way back to the tank. Alright, so that's how far I've gotten. I'm in search of something to do with my throttle cable. I need to put the throttle cable in right down on the bottom here, but I need some kind of bracket to hold this in place. And I also need to find a place to make this solid, and then hook up a ground and a couple other things. So that's what I'm doing. Oh, and I mounted my map sensor right there. And so the next step here I'm going to do is put on that big huge wire harness. So I'm going to lay that out, see how it all looks, and plug a couple in. Oh, and I installed my water temperature sensor right here. There's one down here for serving something, and then there's another one right here serving, I think that one goes up to the dash. And there's a third port, so I put it into the third port. Alright, well, I'll lay in the wires and see how that works. Put the wiring harness in, and everything hooked up really nice. I mounted the engine control module right there. The relays I mounted right onto the engine control module, so that's nice and easy. And this is in a fairly dry area of the boat. The wiring harness just kind of runs back behind here, and it plugged right in. So the connections on the throttle body, we plugged all the vacuum ports in the front, all these auxiliary vacuum ports we don't use in the boat. So hooked up. This red wire is actually a ground wire for the fuel pump. So I just ran a new wire for the fuel pump relay, kept the old clip for ease for future. Ran a crank sensor wire back down here to the coil. That's this black one right here. This red one is ignition 1 source to the computer. The 2 fuel ports. So I had to do a lot of modification for the throttle cable. I had to build this contraption to make a mount back here, and then I had to build, if I can see that or not, and to fabricate a big piece of steel to get this moved out further, and since it's a push rod too, I'm on the top side of that, of this cam, and I had to lengthen it out so that my throw was the right dimension. And let's see what else. Mass airflow sensor right there mounted, and then the vacuum tube runs back into here. Fuel ports. I ran my fuel return back into my vent line here, and that gives adequate space back to the tank to cool it back down again, so I'm not really worried about fuel cooling. Hooked up my battery. We ran the check engine light up to the front of the boat. I mounted it right there, and that's about it. So now it's time. We are gonna, the next step is pull the boat out of the garage, put it outside, put the water muffs on it, and see if this thing starts. And here we are. So the first start of my 4.3 liter engine after I installed my fuel injection system on it. Here we go, first start. That ran really well, really pleased. We will just set the throttle plates so it idles at the right RPM, and that's all we have to do. So next time I pull it out, I'll just do that, but we're ready to go. So thanks for watching, and all we got to do is button it up and pull some skiers.